Okay, all right, so here's chapter 20 of Hero, and I have my lovely camera crew with me. There's Sydney, my niece. She's running the camera for me, and we got some cows behind us so we can read to them too. All right. In chapter 19, they just played an outdoor game of baseball and got their minds off of being lost in the woods, waiting to be rescued. All right, so let's find out if they get rescued. Their hoots and hollers echoed across the valley below them. Ben and Jack had an ace slugger on their team, it turned out, Diego, the tiniest of all the Boy Scouts, a skinny blonde kid with a killer swing. He sent the ball whizzing past Noah. Hero went after it, and Noah chased Hero in a circle while the little kids cackled. The cool air felt gentle and clean on Ben's face. He looked up at the sky where he saw a faint glimmer of light on the horizon. It was dawn. They had been out in the woods for more than 12 hours. The sun came up quickly and began to warm them. The hurricane had passed. It was Ben's turn at bat. He stepped to Noah's backpack and tapped the tip of the branch on the ground a couple of times. As he raised the wood over his shoulder, something caught his eye. Something in the sky beyond the outfield. Ben couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Look at that," he laughed, pointing. Jack, Noah, and the Boy Scouts spun around and turned their gaze upward. They let out a collective gasp as they saw it, too. A crystal clear, perfect rainbow, arcing across the sky like a beacon of hope to all of them. And then, in the distance, Ben heard the sound he'd been waiting for since the second he hung up the phone with his dad. Helicopters. Their rotors churned in the distance, drawing nearer and growing louder by the second. "They're here," the little boy screamed, jumping up and down on the wet ground. "Quick, make an X," Emmett yelled out, and the other Boy Scouts immediately knew what he meant. They ran over to him, fell into a single file line, and began dragging the toes of their right hiking boots through the mud, digging a deep rut in the wet earth. First, they dug out a straight line about 10 feet long. Then they made a second line that crossed the first at an angle. It was a perfect X carved out in the ground, and it would be visible from the sky, a signal for the helicopter. So it's their landing pad. Jack, Noah, and Ben exchanged a look and nodded at each other, impressed. The sound of the chopper blades got louder. "Okay, kids, let's give the helicopter some space," Jack called out. He and Noah herded the boys toward the back of the clearing against a large rock. The first helicopter grew larger and larger until it was right above them, while the second one hovered on the opposite side of the clearing. Their hair whipped around and their hats flew off their heads. Hero ran over to Ben and sat down next to him, leaning against Ben's leg. Scout scuttled over to Jack. Jack picked up the puppy and held him tight. Ben wondered if they would all fit in one helicopter or if they would have to split up into two groups. At least the Boy Scouts were little. He looked back at them, huddled together with Noah and Jack. Ben froze. Something wasn't right. In fact, something was terribly wrong. There were only 6 Boy Scouts. He counted again, just to be sure. 6. He looked at their faces. Who was missing? It only took him a second to realize who it was. Corey. Corey is the boy who is super nervous, and his dad is back at the cave where they need to save him too. Ben's heart pounded in his chest. How long had Corey been gone? How did he let this happen? Ben kicked at the ground in frustration. He fumbled around in his backpack. Sure enough, the walkie-talkie was gone. Corey had taken it with him, and Ben knew exactly where he had gone, back to his dad. There was no other explanation. Ben understood why. He would never have been able to leave his own dad there, alone and hurting so badly. But still, didn't Corey realize how dangerous it was out there, especially by himself? Images flashed through Ben's mind. The alligators' snapping jaws, the flash flood filling the valley in seconds, the mud swallowing the creek and raging toward them. He shuddered. They would never have made it through without each other. Ben, Noah, Jack, Hero, and Scout. They'd all work together to get them to safety. Corey was so young and small, and the forest was huge. What if he got off the path? What if he got lost trying to get back to his dad? What if he couldn't find the cave and now father and son were both in danger? Ben's throat was tight with fear. A rope ladder was unfurling from the closet helicopter. That didn't make any sense. I'll try it again. Ben's throat was tight with fear. A rope ladder was unfurling from the closest helicopter, and several men in full uniform and gear were swinging down toward them. The noise was deafening. He knew Jack and Noah wouldn't be able to hear him, even if he could yell right now. There was no time to wait. Hero, let's go, Ben said, while everyone else kept their eyes locked on the helicopters. Ben and Hero took off running down the trail. The farther they descended along the path, the darker it got as the trees blocked out the early morning sunlight. They rounded a curve, and Ben found himself standing in front of a fallen tree blocking his path. Hero dashed under it. Ben had no choice but to do the same. The trunk was unsteady, and Ben held his breath as he ducked under it. They continued downhill, and Ben wondered how Corey could have gotten so far so fast. He called Corey's name and scanned the tree line for any sign of the boy. Nothing. Then Ben heard a sound that made his mouth go dry with fear. At first he thought his ears were playing tricks on him, but he heard it again. Help! It was Corey, crying for help somewhere off to the right, toward the raging creek. Hero, go get Corey, Ben commanded. Hero shot off through the trees. Hero moved so lightly through the woods that Ben couldn't even hear him going. But he did hear the water in the distance, running faster and louder than before. Oh no, Ben muttered as a horrible realization hit him. Corey wasn't near the water. He was in the water. The muddy, raging, dangerous debris filled the water. Hero got to Corey first. The boy was in the creek up to his chin. The water churned so hard that it splashed right onto Corey's face, barely giving him time to catch his breath. Corey was clinging tightly to the roots of a tree on the bank. The fast-moving water was gradually pushing him downstream, and his hands were slipping farther and farther toward the end of the roots. He wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. Hero ran back and forth along the water's edge, his paws splashing in the current. He started to run into the brisk stream toward Corey, but as Ben ran up behind him. Hero, wait, Ben cried. Hero stopped Ben's command. Hang on, Corey. I can't, Corey yelled. You have to. Hold on tight, Ben called. We're going to get you. You're going to be fine, okay? Ben grabbed a long tree branch from the ground. He hefted it with both hands and swung it out over the water. He angled it toward Corey. Hang on, Ben said. Don't reach for it until I tell you, okay? Corey nodded. Ben walked forward until the water covered his feet. He slipped on the muddy bottom but kept his balance. He positioned the end of the branch as close to Corey's hands as he could and tucked the wide end of it under his armpit to brace it. Then he steadied himself and planted his feet firmly. Okay, Corey. Slowly now. Take one hand off and put it on the branch. Nervously, Corey did as he was told. He held on to the roots with one. Carefully grabbed on the other. You got it? Ben asked. Corey nodded. Ben made sure he still had a good hold on the branch. He steadied himself again. Once Corey let go of the roots in the water, his weight would be fully on the branch, and Ben would have to hold on tight and keep his balance. Ben took a breath and exhaled slowly. Hero darted from Ben toward Corey and back. He wanted to help, but Ben had to do this one thing on his own. Okay, Ben said. When I say one, you let go. You let go with the other hand and grab on, okay? Corey nodded. Ben, 1, go! Corey let go of the roots and latched onto the long branch with both hands. Ben staggered under the weight of the boy and the rushing current. He fought to regain his balance. He gripped the branch tightly and took a big step backward, pulling Corey toward the shore. Hold on, Ben called out. He took another step back. Corey moved in closer. Ben strained against Corey's weight. Was he getting heavier? How was it getting harder to pull him in instead of easier? I think I'm stuck, Corey screamed. Ben, my backpack, it's stuck on something. It's okay, I got you, Corey. Don't worry, Ben called back. He hoped he sounded convincing because he had no idea what to do next. Corey couldn't take off his backpack. If he let go with either hand, he wouldn't be able to hold on, and the water would carry him away. Ben couldn't hold on much longer either. His arms were starting to shake, and sweat broke out on his brow. His only choice was to push Corey backward a little and hope the pack loosened itself. Okay, Corey, here's what we're going to do, Ben said. I'm going to slowly push you back out into the water, a little. No, Corey cried, terrified. Please, no. The fear in his voice broke Ben's heart. It's okay, Ben soothed him. It's going to be fine. We can do this. Think of everything we've done already. This is nothing, right? Right, Corey said, sounding uncertain. Okay, here I go. Ben took one small step forward. Corey moved backward in the water. The powerful current buffeted him around, and Ben felt the branch digging into his side. Hang on, Ben grunted. He took another step forward. Suddenly, the stick grew lighter in Ben's hand. It bounced sharply upward just as Corey let out a scared cry. Corey had lost his grip. He was only holding on with one small hand. Ben saw Corey's other hand waving in the air. Corey, grab on with both hands. I can't, Corey shouted back. The strong current pushed him back and forth, and his body bobbed up and down. Ben didn't know what to do. He couldn't hang on much longer, and neither could Corey. Suddenly, Ben flew backward, landing on his back in the mud. The tree branch had snapped, and Corey was rushing downstream, trapped in the powerful flow of water. Ben didn't stop to think. He threw off his backpack, pushed himself up off the muddy ground, and ran straight toward the water. He jumped in and started swimming frantically, trying to reach the boy, but the current was too strong. It knocked Ben around, tossing and spinning him in the water. Hero barked and ran along the shore, keeping pace. Corey, Ben managed to yell before getting a mouthful of muddy water. He coughed it up. Ben, help me, Corey called from up ahead. Ben tried to straighten himself out so he could swim to Corey, but he couldn't fight the water. The current swept Ben downstream until he bumped into a rock. He reached out to grab it, but his hand slipped right off of the slick mossy stone. Hero ran ahead and took a few steps into the rough, murky water. As Corey moved past, his arms flailing in the air, Hero tried to catch hold of Corey's jacket with his teeth, but the tiny boy was moving too fast. Hero tried again as Ben flew by, then reached out a hand to grab on to Hero's collar, but at the last moment, the current yanked Ben in another direction. As he swept by, hurtling downstream on the rough water, Ben's fingers. All right, so we got some trouble. I knew something was going to happen. We're on chapter 21. That one was a little bit more interesting. Like I said, if the end of this book had this many chapters left and nothing exciting happened, like they just were saved and it was easy, I think it'd be a boring ending. So that was a little better. I do hope that they get saved, though. I don't wish the worst on them. Anyway, all right. Look for me in a new location next time. This is a funny angle. Oh, there we go. Oh, hi. Good job, camera lady. Okay, I'll see you guys next time for Hero. Oh, where's my cursor?